let's start with a prayer. So who would like to offer? Anybody? Don't all jump at the same time.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Our kind and eternal Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day, and we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to gather here as a group. We ask that thou may bless us with thy spirit, that we may have our minds opened and ready to learn as well. And we ask a blessing upon Wendy, that she may be led and inspired as well. We love thee, and we're so eternally grateful for everything that thou gives to us. And we pray for these blessings humbly and faithfully in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. So first of all, it's better for you. Can everybody meet at 6:30 next week? It looks like it's better.
Yeah, that works. That's fine with me.
Yeah, works best for me.
That works better for you, Taro?
Yeah.
Is that better just ongoing? Is everyone okay to just meet up at that time?
For me it is. That's my better time every week.
Are you
fine for me?
okay?
Okay, then we'll meet next week at 6:30.
Awesome.
Okay, so let me give you a little synopsis of the case, and then we'll start discussing it. So, the coach of the Army crew team at the United States Military Academy at West Point faced a dilemma about how to foster team performance. At the start of the crew season, he had used objective data and individual performance to select his top 8 rowers for the varsity crew and the second tier of 8 rowers for the junior varsity crew. When the two crews raced one another at practice, however, the JV crew beat the varsity crew about 2/3 of the time. The case follows the coach attempts to determine the causes of the aberrant results. By the end of the season, the varsity was still near a downward spiral with only 1 week to go before the season-ending national race. The coach must decide what action to take to help the varsity members pull together to reach their potential as a team. So, I'm assuming everybody read it. So, what are some issues that you guys found?
I think the big one that I saw was group dynamics. There isn't any, and that was a big problem.
Oh yes, that was a huge problem. They weren't working together. I mean, their individual scores were really strong, but they were really not working together. They were actually calling each other out. Versus the JV team, they were actually encouraging, and when there was a problem, they actually say, "Oh, we need to work together as a team," rather than calling individual teams. Yes. Did you see any other ones?
Well, I saw, along with that, chemistry, obviously, but it seemed like the coach wasn't really willing to experiment with that varsity team because he trusted them, even though it was kind of obvious that they needed to be a little bit to figure things out.
Sorry, I'm putting my volume up because I can barely hear you.
I think.
Can't hear me?
Oh, yeah. I think along with that, the coach didn't go about selecting the varsity team the right way because he just looked at each person individually instead of seeing how they work together as a group. He just looked at their individual strengths, not as a whole.
Yeah. He never took the time to test them and to actually problems are right. That's when he started flipping members and tried to see what was the time or how they work together. By then the junior the JV didn't want to be switched to the other thing, so it backfired on the coach.
Right.
So what measurements and what other issues do you guys found?
Well, go ahead.
None of them wanted to take responsibility.
Yes.
They all wanted to point fingers.
Yes.
Right. There's no one that was a leader.
Yeah, there was. Go ahead.
Sorry. And the I don't remember their mottos, but like the JV team,
Nothing to lose.
nothing to lose.
Nothing to
And
lose.
then the varsity's team was like do or die or something like that. So it just seems like the JV team had a better attitude and they were still having fun with it. And the varsity team did not.
Yeah, the JV thing was more positive, and the varsity, it just everything was negative. The results, there were a lot of people that were disruptors instead of leaders. There was not a leader there that to help them, and like Jamie said, they were all trying to point fingers. One issue that I found was trust. Like nobody trusted each other, and they all thought that they were carrying the team themselves. At the last meeting, we find out, and it's finally one of them says, "I'm the one that just carries the team, and I'm tired." And then the other person is like, "I'm the one that is carrying it." So like they couldn't trust each other, and in the case, it reads that they needed to trust each other. Like if you didn't get the stroke correctly, like to get back on track, and it doesn't look like the varsity team was doing that.
And to me, that's also a pretty prideful statement in itself to say that you're carrying the team alone. So there were a lot of pride issues in each of them.
Okay. Yeah. So what measurements should be added? What do you think should be added to help coach?
I think you could have evaluated how to place the teams a lot better, but just individually, I think that more needed to be taken. Pick the teams, chemistry, and involved in that.
Yeah, so get team involvement. Anybody else?
Right from the get-go, the coach should have fostered some sort of culture that was, helping the team instead of having the culture sort of morph into what it turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what both of you guys are saying, it's correct. Like it let it go. So now it needs to take like team unity and find an identity for the team. Like what do they want to accomplish? What is their goal? So try to get back to the basics and take measurements. Anybody else? What other solutions or what other measurements?
Well, I think that they have a lot of conflict and disagreements, and I think that I don't think this would necessarily work if it was a group of girls, but I think with a group of guys, it would be better if they just got it all out on the table and like maybe just had a group meeting somewhere, and instead of being like where they did at the bench tables or whatever, they just were attacking each other, just be like, let's lay it out. This is like no sugarcoating. This is what I'm angry about. This is what I'm frustrated about. What should we do? And what, how do we fix this? What goals do we make? Because currently he's like communicating through email. It's like everyone just kind of pent up. But the reason I say that is because I think with males that would work differently. I think females are I don't think they would be honest and get it out there. But I think guys, especially this group of the Army team, I think that would work for them. I just think how he's handling the conflict right now is he shouldn't be so indirect.
He should be more direct with them. Yes, I agree with that. I think that he should also do individual measurements, like measures like what are you gonna change about? Talk to each member. How can you improve this group? And set individual goals for them to live up to.
Yeah.
That way, it can help the group.
Yeah, I think I think it said something about how they didn't even seem really upset about losing.
Yes.
I think you should ask them if they actually do care, and if they don't, then why are they on the varsity team? And just speaking from personal experience, I think it's the best idea to have them all meet together as a team without the coach first. That way they can talk to each other without having to worry about saying what they think the coach wants to hear. And I think that goes a long way to working out those issues. But
that's a good idea to meet and have them be accountable for what they want.
yeah,
Because if they all really want to win, they gotta say, okay, I'm gonna do this and hold them accountable, which
Yeah.
is one of the things that will help.
yeah, because maybe the coach's goal is different than the team's goal, and that you need to be able to discuss that. And if that's the case, make changes. But they got to be on the same page first. So
Yes, get everybody on the same page. What other things that you guys came up with? What other suggestions?
I think in the story there were four things that they mentioned a successful crew team needed. And I think one of those was psychological factors. I can't remember, something along those lines. But I think within that measurement, I think they should include some way to measure team unity, or at least what they think about it, just to see, I don't know, because I would be interested to see what they think about it, because obviously there's a missing communication somewhere. So somewhere somebody doesn't understand of a team. I mean, they're blaming each other. So somewhere. So I think that should be added into that psychological aspect of what they look for.
That's a good point that you make, because in the study guide that they gave us for the leader, one of the things that they mentioned as a hint is team unity. And I was just waiting to see if anybody said it, but
Cool.
it's one of the things, like one thing that should be out is team unity and identity. Like measure them and personal attitude. See where they are with their personal attitude towards the team. So it's important. I came up with in the case we were reading that he was switching back and forward the players. So I was thinking that for next season, not for this season, but for next season, before just using the data that they have to do some sort of measurements, like don't say you're in this team or in that team, because switch them, like, okay, if you were in this A, and I'm not going to tell you if you're varsity or not, and see how well that worked. Because he didn't discover that they didn't work with a group of 8 until like it was too late, sort of. And it was interesting to find out that when he was trying to measure them, they put group of 2, groups of 4, groups of 6, and it worked. It was only when it was all 8 that it didn't work. So I suggested that maybe they do more, instead of saying you're going to be in the varsity and you're going to be in the JV, to actually just have them compete for a couple of weeks in different groups of 8. Did anybody have any other suggestions? Okay, so there's a question here. Why would the data suggested performance yet not match the actual results of the collected team? So what do you guys think about that?
Say that one
Why
more
would
time.
all the data that they collected? It says, why did the data suggest performance yet didn't match the actual results of the team? So all the data suggested that they were the best, that they were supposed to be. So
Because they were
what do
the
you guys
best.
think?
They were the best individually, but when combined as a team, they weren't the best team. They just didn't operate well together.
Yeah, and we sort of covered that with they weren't really team players. They didn't know how to do team players. They complained. They psychologically were not pumped as the other one. Okay. So what do you think coach should do for the upcoming finals? Did you think he should change the groups? Because they gave 3 suggestions. Either change the groups, like the junior become the varsity, mix them up, or just work on the team performance. What do you guys think he should do?
I mean, I think if one team is consistently outperforming the other, then they deserve to take the place of the varsity team consistently over time. If it's the same outcome, then that seems obvious. But because it's hard because he thinks that they're the best individually.
Okay. So are you saying like to switch the entire varsity team? I mean, junior team, JV to varsity?
Yeah, at least give it a try and see if that's what works best. He's tried replacing them individually and didn't really make a difference.
Yes. All right. What do the other ones think? And
I don't know if I would. Well, I guess it's not starting from scratch, but if anything, I think maybe. I don't know. I'm not sold on that idea because the varsity, the team members of the varsity team are stronger and they are better athletes. But I feel like since the JV team's working together better, they deserve. Maybe they deserve to compete because they're showing that sportsmanship. But I think if he did that, it would ruin the varsity team for at least the upcoming season because they would be pretty unhappy. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I think the JV team maybe deserves it, but I don't know if that's going to help them win.
okay.
I think that's a good point.
But the thing is, though, is what really qualified them as varsity or JV, isn't it? Performance. It's not really about individual performance. It's about a team performance. And if it hasn't really been determined, if it's only been preseason and one team's consistently better than the other, that to me is what you would use as a factor to decide who's better. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, it is a good point. At first, I was like, yeah, let's just switch them if the teams are doing better. But then I started thinking, okay, that JV might be doing better against their varsity, but they're going to be competing against other schools and everything. And they want to have the strongest individual performers. And the issue right here is just them not working well as a team. But that doesn't mean other varsity teams have that issue. So to me, it was like the varsity, it is strong individually. They just need to learn to work together. And that's where I ended up with my conclusion. Like, he needs to work on them working together instead of just flipping it. Because I think the JV will not win any competitions if it gets switched. Or it might be harder.
My thing is, it doesn't necessarily have to be permanent to switch, but you need to know how the varsity team will respond to that adversity. Are they just going to quit? Because if they're just going to quit, then they don't really deserve to compete. And so that's kind of one of those things, is if they have the mental capacity to fight through it, then they can figure it out. But if they're not going to, then why are they on the varsity team in the first place? That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Okay. So play a psychological.
Well, maybe at this point the coach intervene. Kind of lay the law down and say, you guys aren't winning. You need to have a team leader here. Figure out who that team leader is and follow them.
Yeah. Well, there is I can't remember, but the positions that you were in the row, it determines who the leader is. Who the leader is, I think. Like, depending on where you're seated, they're supposed to be following your directions, isn't it? Depending on do any of you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember what the title is. I remember that there is a person that is in the position or seat physically that's supposed to be the leader, but obviously, if that's the case, he's not stepping up.
Yeah,
So,
the people that sit on the team captain is the one that sits in the sixth seat. So he's the one that's supposed to be leading and the other one's supposed to follow. 7's supposed to be totally in pair with 8, and 5 and 6 are a team, but 6 is the one that leads the team. So I think he might need to revise who he puts on number 6. Because that's the main reason they don't have a leader, and that captain right there is not doing what he's supposed to.
Yeah, then they need to get someone that's more vocal in that spot.
Yes.
At the very bottom of the case study, it says what they do: steers the boat, motivates the team, sets up the racing strategy, executes the coach's training for the days. So, I mean, he does a lot of stuff, and it doesn't sound like he's doing it.
He's doing it, yes. So maybe he can do that, like come up with who is the better leader and who's going to be the one that is going to be actually doing what it needs to be. And it looks like 6, 7, and 8 are the ones that need to be so in sync. So maybe out of that varsity group, come up with 2 that are actually working together, like can work together. Oh, did we just lost Terrell?
Looks like it.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's keep going. So maybe if he can find 2 that are willing to work harder than the other team members to get in sync with each other, he can put those people there. I was researching and trying to figure out how long it takes for a team to actually start working, and it takes more than 4 days to get full results. But I still think that that's the best way, that the coach needs to intervene and say, this is our goal, this is where we need to work, and somehow find a way to motivate them. So what are some things that you guys think can build a team?
And again?
Okay, what are some ideas that you have, or things that you know that can build a team, like team performance and team dynamics?
well, it sounds cheesy, but they could have some like team building exercises or trust building exercises, or instead of practicing just racing and physically working on their physical strength, maybe try some other exercises that might help them become a stronger team in more than just a physical way, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there needs to be a bond between them, that they trust each other and can reach a goal, you know.
Sure, I think I would try
Yeah,
to
I was thinking
some group measures instead of so much individual measures.
yes. Yes, I was thinking that they need to put measurements that can help then say, okay, if I don't like this, and not just email, but actually talk, like you said earlier, like talk face to face, because that's the best way that they're going to be able to solve the problem, and not just, oh, I'll send this email and I don't know the reaction. They need to create like a clear purpose of where they're going. They want to win the finals, so that's going to be their goal. So have the team identify that, and some of the, and at the beginning of the case, I think it said that they were focusing on their physical and they improved by like 10% or something. I can't recall that. But they improved, and so like you were saying, Jamie, like they need, or Liliana, one of you guys, they can focus on improving the team. So that was my suggestion. Instead of switching the varsity, I mean the JV with the varsity, to just focus on improving them. Let's see. And I think the mix-up of the teams didn't work because the JV did not want to be, and they actually, and whenever time they did it, they spoiled the. They tried to convince the coach that it was doing the wrong player, moving the wrong player. They actually work harder to not be in the varsity. So and that was all the questions. It says if you guys had any personal experiences with team working, then you guys like to share. Okay, and so it's just, we gotta summarize the discussion, and it's the key concepts. So one of the things that we talked about was team unity and identity, help improve their attitude, their personal attitude. Make sure we measure them not individually but as a team. Help them build trust and create commitment to them, to each other. That's what I have, unless you guys have something else.
No,
No, I think that's pretty much it.
I don't. No, that was a really easy case.
That was. I tried to research the results to see what happened at the end, but I couldn't find it, and I ended up going to the crew team organization, and it's saying in 2002 they won, the varsity won, but I don't know if the varsity that they had, or if they ended up switching the JV. But in the National League, it said that in 2002 they won. So
I actually did. I'm taking a human resources management class, and we studied this exact case.
Oh,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, they had them.
That's nice.
Try not to say too much, because I'm like, I know exactly what. But they ended up having them wrestling it out, like physically, just, hey guys, hash it out, wrestle, and it helped get out the aggression. But then they also ended up being like, wow, each of us is really pretty strong, and I have some solid team members. And then it became fun, and they started laughing, and then it just diffused the tension, and they were able to just, get it all out there and move on. So.
Okay, you see, that would have been done yesterday when I spent 3 hours trying to figure out what happened. I was like, I guess I'll never know.
Yeah, there's some benefits to taking way too many classes at once. So this is one of them.
There you go. Thank you for that. Now I don't have to wonder. So that's what I found out. So they ended up doing it. That's awesome. Okay, so sometimes that helps, and in this case it did. I wanna. Is there any other comments that you guys like to share, or anything?
Not here.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, No, I'm good.
I was wondering who the, do we know who the next group leader is?
That's me, I think.
Oh, that's right. You said that. Okay, cool.
Yes. Jamie is. I don't know if Terrell has signed to be a group member. I mean, a group leader or no. But because I think after Jamie, I don't know if we're still.
Yeah, after
Somebody
Jamie,
else is
all of us will have been a group leader, and I think he probably will if I think it just there was a time conflict. So next meeting we can ask.
Okay, yeah, we'll ask him. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for helping and having your inputs and being ready.
So Wendy, what do I
this
need?
was,
What do I need to do with the link? Do we post it on the discussion board? I don't remember now.
Yeah, it just says remember to send a link to the recording to your group members,
Okay,
and that's it.
that's it. Okay.
It's just pretty much we had to discuss the case here, and we just had to send it. And it's just any personal experience or ratifications, but that's pretty much. Yeah, that was pretty much it that we needed.
Okay.
So, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Wendy.
I guess that'll be it.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
You too.